So last week, we had Governor Gavin Newsom of California. He sent in John and Ponch, 120 John and Ponches to the city of Oakland to square away some of the crime we've got going on. Now he's sending in additional state attorneys. What's going on? Let's get into it. Here we go. We're going to watch a video, a super quick rundown. Think of the things that we've recently seen in the media in Oakland that folks have been talking about. In-N-Out Burger, that's been there like 45 years, gone. Denny's, that was there for like 54 years, gone. We've got Kaiser Not So Permanente telling their employees, you know what, folks, you might want to stay in the office, not go out into the wilds of Oakland because you might get robbed or worse. Yeah, got so much crime going on in Oakland that these things are happening just daily. Let's watch a video.
Chaotic scenes from Oakland, California, a city now notorious for its violent crime. The Hegenburger Road Corridor, one of the worst parts of the city. Once a thriving road with chain stores and local businesses, it's now an area many avoid.
So customers are scared, so they're not staying to eat.
Exactly. They call for the phone and order the food, but to go.
1 year since opening Zona Latina.
When I first saw this, I was like, that's got to be some really good food. Because if I know there's a chance that my car is going to get jacked or I'm going to get jacked going into a restaurant, I am probably not going to get my food from there. Or if they have delivery, I might risk the extra whatever amount to get it delivered. But, I mean, talk about having a tough hurdle to overcome if you're a business.
Cindy Barella's business has been broken into twice. Her customers targeted countless times.
For my customer, they broke the windows, the car, and take everything.
Varela stores down the street from this Raising Cane's, where employees tell us they do drive-through service only. This cage here, it's where employees...
That cage is for the employees to park in. A cage. Yeah. Hey, come and work for Raising Cane's. And your car is going to be safe and secure inside this corrugated cyclone metal fence.
Park their cars, and there are signs everywhere telling people to eat and leave.
Just around the corner.
No dessert for you. Get the F out, because you might get robbed otherwise, or worse.
The well-known burger chain In-N-Out says it will be closing this location, not from lack of business, but because customers and associates are regularly victimized by car break-ins, property damage, theft, and armed robberies. In 2023, Oakland police recorded increases in burglaries, robberies, and auto thefts.
We've covered Bipping.
By 23, 38, and 45% compared to the year prior. In the last week, several companies across Oakland have all announced safety concerns. Kaiser Permanente telling its workers in a leaked
Kaiser Not So Permanente? Yeah, we covered that one.
Memo obtained by KTVU not to leave the building for lunch or hold meetings downtown.
It sort of creates this avalanche of people
go outside of the office,
afraid to go out, which actually makes it even a worse problem.
Sherry Godinez is a third-generation Oaklander.
What's it like seeing restaurant after restaurant closed on this block?
It's very heartbreaking.
Godinez represents hundreds of businesses as the executive director of a business collective. More than half of the businesses she recently surveyed said they were closing or leaving Oakland.
To see Oakland transition from such a thriving community to starting to look like a ghost town is just devastating.
Godinez's organization and other business districts want city leaders to make policy changes that would allow Oakland police to operate more effectively. She says businesses like this home decor store, Burger.
Effectively, they mean do their job. Arrest the bad guy, and then you got to have some prosecutors and you got to have some judges willing to put the bad guy away. Till we get there, this is all just talk.
Just a few weeks ago, experienced repeated break-ins. Groups of people, organized and strategic, often captured on citywide cameras, hit several businesses at a time. Crime, Godinez says, is changing the local economy.
First Friday is a launching pad to get started.
She believes it's part of the reason the Oakland First Friday Street Fair, put on to showcase businesses, has been temporarily shut down for the first time in 10 years.
It makes you emotional just thinking about it.
Because I don't want to see it go away.
And the city is also taking action. Oakland Mayor Sheng Tao, who's been in office just 1 year, already facing a recall from dissatisfied voters. But her office increased the number of police across the city, including the Hegenburger Corridor. That area saw a 23% reduction in auto burglaries in 2023 compared to the year before. The Oakland police say they're working along.
Got to remember, we're coming off of all-time highs in crime throughout multiple areas in the United States. So when you see a reduction like that, keep in mind, okay, that could have been off of just some stupendously high criminal activity.
Alongside community members and law enforcement partners at all levels to deploy resources strategically to combat criminal activity. Yeah. Nigel Jones is a restaurateur who immigrated to the U.S. from Jamaica. One of his restaurants, Kingston 11, was ransacked last fall. It's around that time, he says, he started working with other business owners to find solutions and bring them to city leaders.
So you've achieved your American dream in Oakland.
Yes.
You want others to be able to do the same.
Yes, I do. There are folks who can't go anywhere and they need to make the city thrive. And so I'm one of those folks. Not that I can't go anywhere, but I don't want to go anywhere. And I am 100% committed to Oakland being a place where people can thrive and achieve their dreams.
Veronica Miracle, CNN, Oakland, California.
So we know what the storyline is. We know that Governor Gavin Newsom is sending in, we've got not only John and Punch, but now we've got additional state prosecutors. What's behind all this? Oakland is a terrible look right now. Oakland has got crime just running rampant. Is Governor Newsom, is he going to run for president? Is Oakland such a bad look? Is Oakland such a, blemish on his record, aside from San Fran or anywhere else in California for that matter? Is it such a bad look that he's got to send additional resources in there because he knows that he's going to run for office here? Because with Biden, with that whole special report indicating he's an elderly man that is losing his memory. And it's not just that report. It's watching Biden for the last XYZ number of years, just cognitive decline going down. So is Biden, is this what Newsom is doing? I don't know. Last week, John and Ponch. This week, new prosecutor, new attorneys. California's governor announced plans Thursday to send prosecutors to Oakland in his latest move to crack down on rising crime in the San Francisco Bay Area, where brazen robberies in broad daylight have drawn national attention. Governor Gavin Newsom days earlier said he would deploy 120 California Highway Patrol officers, John and Ponch, to the rescue to also help with targeted crackdowns on criminal activity in Oakland, a city of 400,000 people across the bay from San Francisco that has seen a spike in violent crimes, including serious drug-related offenses, retail theft, auto burglaries, bipping, even though crime in other California urban centers is falling. California, just not the golden state that it once used to be, right? The additional deputy attorney general from the California Department of Justice and attorneys from the California National Guard would help Alameda County prosecute suspects arrested for serious and complex crimes, Newsom said. He didn't say how many prosecutors would be sent or when. We knew we got 120 California Highway Patrolmen. Is this going to have any impact on the criminal element that's going on in Oakland right now? I would have to say off the top of my head, I don't know. You know what I mean? We got this one thing that's going to impact it here. We got this other one. How's it all going to work out? Until you go ham, let the cops do their job. Get tough on crime. You've got a district attorney that's just, it's okay, let him go. It's all in the name of racial justice. You've got that whole thing going. You've got that whole thing going on throughout all of California. You got it going on in every big blue liberal city that is just so woke. Well, it's racist to apprehend and prosecute people and incarcerate them, so let's just let them go. Bail? Who needs that? We don't need bail. No skin in the game? That's fine. I'm sure they'll show up at their court date. Alameda County Public Defender Brendan Woods called Newsom's plan a Band-Aid to fix a broken arm. That's a good one. That's very descriptive, isn't it? Kind of tells you what you need to know. All right, you got a much bigger problem. You're trying to fix it with a little tiny skin surface issue. That's not going to work. Dude's arm is broken. You're going to need to reset it. You're going to need to put a cast on it. You're going to need to give the guy some heavy-duty drugs and then let the healing begin. You're going to have to do that in California as well, because all these little lipstick on a pig type deals, it's not going to do much, is it? More prosecution and more police is not the solution here, Woods said in a statement. We need housing, money for community-based organizations, higher wages, employment, as well as money for our schools, medical care, and mental health. Well, you probably need some of that as well, but you got to start putting the bad guys away first. Primero, right? You got to start locking those people up. But you've got this liberal attitude that just says, well, they're not really that bad of people. And the dude's got 45 felony convictions, 13 outstanding warrants, and a partridge in a pear tree of crime. You know, you're like, okay, well, what did you think would happen when you started this really soft on crime approach? Did you think people were just going to be, oh, okay, this is what we're doing? Well, I guess I'll just hang up my criminal boots and we just won't do that anymore. I get it. I've been a bad person. I'm just going to go work at In-N-Out Burger. Oh, it closed. Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to go work at Denny's closed. Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, car break-ins where the thieves use a car escape tool to tap a glass window and silently shatter it and then steal belongings left inside the car have become so commonplace in the Bay Area that the criminal activity has its own verb. We are creating our own vocabulary because that is how far crime has escalated in Oakland. And we call that bipping a car, break-in in progress. Bip, right? Some thieves have bipped cars in broad daylight with occupants in them. Now that is bold. I mean, that takes a special kind of criminal, doesn't it? Yeah, I see you in there. Whack the glass, grab the person's purse while they're holding it, trying to drive. But you know what? Why wouldn't that happen? You have green lit the entire situation. Yeah, you take all those felony crimes, reduce them down to misdemeanors. You can steal up to $950 worth of stuff, almost $1,000 worth of stuff, and it's still basically a small misdemeanor ticket. You don't really get in any trouble. And even if you do get arrested, nobody's going to put you in jail. We're not really doing jail anymore. So until you take a hard stance on crime like that, which California has never really been known for, nothing is really going to change. But Newsom, he's still going to run for president, isn't he? We can't keep doing this over and over, Woods said. We need different solutions. Well, the soft on crime one is not working out. I just want to point that out. I just want to throw that out there to the general public. Yeah. So that whole defund the police thing, yeah, let's just admit that right now that was a terrible idea. And the marketplace has gone in a wildly opposite direction. And that means more cops, more prosecutors, and we got to get everybody on board. Oakland has been without a permanent police chief since February 2023, when Mayor Sheng Tao fired then police chief LeRon Armstrong after a probe ordered by the oversight monitor found he mishandled 2 misconduct cases. Was he doing his job? I mean, besides those? I don't know. Armstrong sued the city of Oakland and its mayor on Monday, saying he was unlawfully terminated in retaliation for criticizing the federal court-appointed monitor overseeing the department. That's so much in the way of politics going on with policing. Meanwhile, these cities are just bleeding out. Oakland specifically. Oakland is having a tough time. Oakland's police department has been under federal oversight since 2003. What big police department hasn't been under federal oversight? And are we just kidding ourselves that this federal oversight is really making these cities any better for its inhabitants? I mean, it doesn't really seem like that in Oakland, right? Where if you're working at Citizen Kane, You got to park in a special cage with your car because it's that dangerous. It is a known quantity where you can't eat in and dine. Yeah, dining room's not open. How come? Well, because you might get robbed, or while you're in here, your car has a very high chance of getting robbed out on the sidewalk in front of our store. Yeah, we've had lots of customers have it happen to them. Talk about things to overcome, trying to, if you're a restaurant owner, yeah, come into our store. Yeah, but, don't plan on staying. I know we've got the tables inside. Don't plan on staying. You need to get back to your car because it could get jacked. Your stuff could get stolen. Who knows what could happen? Anything could happen. It's Oakland. You know that, right? Yeah, don't leave anything. Don't leave anything out in your car. So Oakland's police department's been under federal oversight, yada, yada, after a rookie officer came forward to report abuse of power by a group of officers known as the Oakland Riders. I say bring the Oakland Riders back. I don't really know the story. I don't care. I'd be willing to try anything that would benefit trying to go after some of this criminal element. The case resulted in the department being required to enact more than 46 reform measures and report its progress to an outside monitor and a federal judge. Well, now you have got so much, you've ratcheted policing down so hard in so many of these communities that the criminal element knows that it can just get away with whatever they want to do. And they're taking advantage of that. And everybody in these blue liberal cities is sitting around going, what are we going to do, guys? This is terrible. This is terrible. Well, you went down all this policy that basically said to arrest people and to incarcerate them is racist. And it's really not. It's really not. So we need to go back to that. Sean, you can't arrest your way out of it. You know what? Let's give it a try. I mean, I'm going to throw that out there. Let's give it a try. Let's give it a roll of the dice because this kind of stuff isn't working faux show, right? I mean, it's just not. It's just not. And you know what? There are other areas of the country where they are pushing back on crime. How about at the southern border? How about what Greg Abbott is doing there? Have the numbers dropped incredibly? They have. Weird. Is that because he's pushing back and he is making a hard stand on the border? It is. It is. It's not solely due to that. You've got some statistical stuff going on because January is a low time of the year for crossings across the border. But by and large, when you actually enact policing, stopping people from coming over the border illegally, guess what happens? They tend to go elsewhere. Yeah. And right now, everybody is in Oakland because they know they can get away with it. Crime does pay. It pays in spades. And we're watching it unfold in front of us. And it's not just Oakland. I mean, it's all of California, right? Ran into a guy down in Texas last weekend, and he's kind of a Nightcrawler kind of guy. That was an epic movie. He takes his big camera setup and he films, 911 calls and just the crazy stuff that goes on. And I was talking to him, and I've talked about this before. And he basically came right out and said, hey, we got enough crime in Bakersfield, where he's from, Northern California. We got enough crime going on where, man, I can make a really good go at this, getting YouTube followers, getting new subscribers, all the different content, because there's so much crazy stuff going on that he's got built-in content for days. It's kind of like when I talk about, when I see all the comments that people say, you got to get out of those blue liberal states. You got to leave the blue liberal states. And I'm like, nah, I'm going to stick it out to the end. You know why? Because it provides content for me. I mean, it just does. The ridiculousness. Seattle is going to pay $1.8 million for a restroom with 6 stalls in it. Yep, 6 stalls. But don't worry. Don't worry. It's an all gender restroom. Rest assured. Because when you go to downtown Seattle, specifically Pier 58, and you just really got to go, yeah, you're still probably not going to use that restroom because it's a public restroom in Seattle, right? It'll be really interesting to see, does Gavin Newsom's action with bringing John and Ponch in, 120 of them, bringing the prosecutors in, going down these roads. Is it really going to have any impact, or is this more of a political stunt that Newsom can say, hey, I'm aware that there's issues. Here's how we're addressing them. I brought 122 California highway patrolmen to an area that needed them, being Oakland. Is that what he's doing with all of this? It sure feels like it. Because 120 John and Ponches and a bunch of state prosecutors, it doesn't really seem like that's going to turn the tide that you've got going on in California right now. You're going to need a way bigger toolkit than that. And you're actually going to have to start throwing some people in jail and prison on the regular. And I don't think California is ready for that. It's just not there. Oakland isn't ready for that. So expect to see this stuff keep on a-going, because at the end of the day, why wouldn't it? All right. That's it for me on this one. Thanks so much for being here. Love to have you subscribe, hit that notification bell, hit the like button for this video if you found this entertaining. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.